Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Starcub Review. I'm your host, as always, Starcub. Now, tonight's little movie review is going to be something completely out of the norm. I'm going to step out of doing science fiction, horror comedy, all that sort of jazz, and I think I have stepped out a little bit with certain reviews for certain movies that I like. But this one is going to be on a 2024 British black comedy that is just recently been released onto Netflix. Recently came out in theaters as well, just this March and February for the UK, and that is Wicked Little Letters. But before I get into that and let you all know about that, I just want to do a big shout out to everyone brand new to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And to all those returning, you know I love you all. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, as I was saying, Wicked Little Letters just recently got released onto Netflix, has been in theaters as well. So there's that. And it is directed by Thea Sharrock, written by Johnny Sweet, and produced by Graham Broadbent, Peter Zernan, Ed Sinclair, Olivia Colman, and Joe Wallet. And Wicked Little Letters stars Olivia Colman, absolutely exceptional actress, Jessie Buckley, Anjana Vassen, Jonah Scanlon, Malachi Kirby, Lolly Adolphi, Elaine Atkins, and Timothy Spall. And as I was saying, this is a British black comedy, and it is actually based on a true scandal that happened in the 1920s in a little town called Littlehampton, the seaside town of Littlehampton. And it basically is a lady receives, played by Olivia Colman, and she is playing Edith Swan. Now she receives dirty, scandalous letters that have all different sorts of profanities in them, and then soon enough she starts receiving more and more. As the thing is, though, her foul-mouthed neighbour, who is Rose Gooding, played by Jessie Buckley, she is a little bit different. So first they become friends, but she finds she's a potty mouth and, you know, a bit more out there, outgoing and whatnot. And Edith is very Christianized and doesn't like all the swearing and stuff like that. But it's soon after her neighbour arrives that she starts receiving more and more letters. And then everyone comes to suspect that it's actually Rose that's giving her the letters. But when everyone in town when certain people start getting them in town, and then more and more people start getting them in town, it becomes a race against time to find out who the actual culprit is with all these letters, which basically is some of the most funniest shit I have seen on screen. And the letters are just so, oh my god, they're so scandalous. They're so it's full of profanities. But the way that everyone starts getting these letters and they start reading them, it's like, oh my god, it just becomes like, really? Do you suspect that this person wrote these letters and this person maybe could have done it and they're involved? And it becomes a big race against time to basically start finding out who it is. And it's everyone's pointing the finger at everybody, but it's more a case of everyone is pointing the finger at Rose because she's such a potty mouth, foul mouth, does what she wants. She's very different. She's from Ireland. She has a kid as well. And all the cast are absolutely great. Absolutely fantastic. And what more can I say about this film is that I really like British humour. I mean, I know a lot of Americans probably won't get British humour as well as what Australians do. There's just a level of understanding because I'm Australian. I get where their jokes are coming from. I get their sense of humour and profanities pretty much. And some of the stuff in it is just like, what? Huh? Like, if you're American, you probably wouldn't understand what they're trying to say or how they're trying to communicate it across. But for Australians, it's completely different. I think British humour is hilarious, but for those Americans who do love British humour, especially black British humour, it is profoundly funny. It is, oh my God, there were so many times I just really wanted to wet myself. It was hilarious. And Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley, their friendship in the movie is what really sets the whole movie off as well. But then as time goes on, they become mortal enemies because she starts pointing the finger at her and she starts pointing the finger at the other one, and it just becomes it's an outrageous comedy where, you know, there's a lot of really funny stuff that happens in it, but some of it is very, very serious. And for 1920s as well, it's profoundly it's the realization that 1920s was very, very harsh. And when you watch the movie, a lot of the stuff that happens in it as well, especially with the laws back then, you know, you could get done in for the smallest inconsistency. If you do something wrong or you say something, you're labeled, you know, you're labeled as, you know, horrible and all of that. It's a learning curve as well. But this being based on a true being based on a true scandal that really happened, it's it's just absolutely funny how something like this could have affected so many people in this little community way back in the 1920s. And it's just outrageous to see how, you know, government procedures were done back then. It's really, really eye-opening, and it's a really fantastic film. Cinematography is great, the soundtrack is great, it's the screenplay and the script are tight and so well done, so well written. Olivia Colman is a true standout. She is an absolute blast on this film. So is Jessie Buckley. They all are, and Jana Vasson, who plays the policewoman in this. Oh my God, I felt so sorry for her. Her character is Police Constable Gladys Moss, and the stuff that she has to go through with chauvinistic pigs in the police force, the males. Some of the stuff she goes through is absolutely grueling and horrible, but the way that she collects herself and gets through it is absolutely fantastic and funny and heartwarming to see. And she's a standout as well. I absolutely loved her. I loved her in 1970, Demon 1979. She was absolutely amazing in that, and she's absolutely amazing in this. So, hands down, it was an absolutely fabulous film. Anyone that is interested in British black humour, comedy, you really need to see it because it's fantastic. Now, what do I rate Wicked Little Letters? I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic comedy. It is really, really funny, heartwarming, heartfelt, and some of it is heartbreaking, but it does have a really, really good outcome in the end. Sad, but the way that it all plays out and the way that it ends up being is actually also happy. And that's all I'm really going to say. But other than that, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And I'll catch you all with another video very, very soon. All right, guys. Catch you later. Bye.